Okay, if you're wondering why sometimes I mark in my tags Project Censored, it's because I feel like I'm being censored. In other words, if I'm putting tags in, sometimes I go and I submit, and the tags get completely stripped out. In other words, I put in a bunch of work to put my tags in, and then I click the little check mark in order to go and upload it to Instagram, for example, and then something happens, and I go look at my post, and all the tags have been removed. Other times, I try and put tags in, and I click the little checkbox, and regardless how many times I check it, it won't submit. I call this project censored because someone is censoring me from putting in what I'm given to put in. Um, that's basically what Project Censored is. Me feeling like I'm being censored. Now, where do I get my information about what I'm going to tag my postings with? For me, it comes from, I can't even tell you where. Usually, what I say is wherever my information comes from, I call it the muse because I'm an artist. And this is kind of, I think it goes way back to ancient Greece. They said, where do artists get their inspiration from? And they called it the muse. But from a scientific perspective, um, I don't know where scientists say information comes from. Databases, computer scientists say databases. Um, Maybe somebody who's from kind of a religious philosophy would say God. Somebody who is not too much into religion but wants to say it's coming from somewhere would say it's coming from source. David Wilcock wrote a book called The Source Fields or something, didn't he? Something about source field. Anyway, in his books, he talks about the source fields. Um, Ancient Hawaiians believed that all this stuff came, or existence came from something they called the Po, P-O, which is kind of a nebulous term. Um, it's not the same as Poland, which is in Northern Europe, but the Po is it's a Hawaiian word. And um, so I don't know. I don't know where it comes from. And I don't know why I'm being censored. I used to blame some of my associates, spirit guides, because they used to chuckle when this happened. And I would get frustrated. Why is it that my tags haven't gone up? And they would say, well, we're using our Sombra machine. And I've told you before, the Sombra device, Sombra was a corporation in Stephen King's books, The Dark Tower. And it wasn't really the most friendly corporation, even though I think they had a Merlin working for them at one time. Their related company was Northwest Positronics, and they made robots. But Arthur C. Clarke said, sufficiently advanced technology and magic are indistinguishable. So Merlin the magician and technology, Northwest Positronics, makes for things like portals between different worlds. How far away are we from like Star Trek and the ability to create a holodeck or a transporter beam or a tractor beam or light speed? Well, that's a technological effort to get these things done. It's very right brain. Left brain people might be people like a sadhu, which is like a Hindu holy person. They sit around in their red robes and they smoke weed and they talk about Shiva. And after a certain amount of time, some of these Hindu gurus and Hindu saints develop these spiritual powers that are called siddhis. And a siddhi is basically, well, instead of using a transporter beam to beam you from the surface of a planet to a spaceship, a person with a siddhi just goes without needing any technological help. It's just something done in consciousness. I remember years ago when I was a boy, there were two TV shows that talked about this kind of ability from a different perspective. There was Samantha, who was Darren's wife in Bewitched, and all the witches in Bewitched could do city power. And then there was I Dream of Jeannie with Larry Hagman and Barbara Eden. And Barbara Eden played Jeannie, and she also had the same ability as the witches. Those powers that the witches and the genies use are called cities. So, which way do you want to go? If you're very right brain and scientific, then you're going to go the Star Trek way, and you're going to use technologies to help you get where they're going. And if you're more left brain, holistic person, you sit around and chant, and you're not too worried about doing mathematics. Although I think some of these Hindu saints are not necessarily stupid at all when it comes to things like mathematics and philosophy and things. I think they can be incredibly smart. It's just they're not stuck on logic, physics, physics. They look at things from a different perspective. In the end, why do I have Project Censored? I don't know. I don't know what, who, where, when, or why these tags that I put on my posts disappear, but it's been going on ever since I started posting on Instagram. It doesn't seem to happen so much on YouTube, but sometimes, not that frequently. It happened more in the past than now. Sometimes I would post something on YouTube and the video would disappear. Rumpelstiltskin, my associate, would say we are traveling through different versions of planet Earth. He called this serrying, S-C-R-R-Y. To serry means to leave from one version of planet Earth to another. And in Stephen King's Dark Tower series, they went from one version of Earth to another. So it's that's kind of sci-fi horror, but can we do this? The many worlds interpretation of quantum physics says that there are many worlds, so we should be able to do this. It gets very complicated as to how, because I don't have a transporter room in my living room, and I'm not in India, and I don't have any sadhus here smoking weed and chanting Shiva, 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 Om Shiva. How's it going to happen for you? Stay awake and don't have a negative attitude. What I notice is that some people, when they get any kind of new information, run away. I don't want your new information. Don't be one of those kind of people. Be curious, be open-minded. Don't run into scaredy catness. I'm Bob Frizzell.